What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Zuggy Zone. We are live here on YouTube, and if it's your first time tuning in, this is a show where two Tylenites talk about sports. That's a new term. I've coined it. I'm not going to go into any details on that one. But Jet, how are you doing today?
I think I know what it means.
I think you do too.
God, dude, that intro gets me so hyped. That's so good. After hearing that, I'm even better. I love that title. Tylenites. Oh, that. I'm doing good. It's a great 60-ish degrees, 70-ish degrees outside. It's fall weather, you know. It's actually starting to feel like September. It's good. It's a good day.
It is a good day, and we have some really fun stuff to talk to you guys about today. We got a lot of baseball stories. Big story coming out of New York this week with Jaxson Dart taking over as QB1. And then our third story is just some hockey quick hitters. I know that the majority of the show gets taken up by the pick'em. We talk about a lot of football. So just trying to keep things mixed up and talk about all the sports that are happening, because any sports are good sports and they deserve to be talked about. But we're going to start off with the weekly wrap-up with our first story, which is Major League Madness, man. There's been so many fun stories coming out of Major League Baseball over the last week or so. And we're going to start off with the Detroit Tigers collapsing in on themselves. You thought last year the Twins' collapse was bad. You haven't seen anything yet. The Detroit Tigers were up 15.5 games on the AL Central, on the Cleveland Guardians, on July 8th, and they are now sitting in second place. What the hell happened?
Dude, it's so bad. Going back and looking at it, they have lost 11 of their last 12. 11 out of 12 games you lose back to back to back. They're on an 8-game loss streak right now. So that means in between the 8 to the 11, so 3 games, you win 1. That split is still awful. It's terrible. How do you manage to be at the top of your division, playing so phenomenally, and then you pull a Rockies, and you're wondering if you're even going to make the wild card?
Not pulling a Rockies.
Hey, they're pulling a Rockies.
They definitely have pulled a Rockies. They suck.
Oh, yeah. And the worst part is, it's not like they get to play another team and possibly redeem themselves. No. They play the Cleveland Guardians tonight. So the Cleveland Guardians, who they've already lost a couple games to over the past couple nights, have a chance to knock them down even further. So if you're Detroit, you got to get your head on, man. You're about to go into the postseason, and you're going in with the worst loss streaks you could go into the postseason with.
Yeah, I mean, they've been putrid since the, back on July 9th. The Detroit Tigers had the best record in Major League Baseball. Since then, they are 26-39. That's some shit I would expect out of our St. Louis Cardinals, not out of a team trying to win the AL. And here's the reason for that. They've been outscored by nearly a run and a half per game over that stretch. They have the 7th worst ERA in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. So pitching has been something that was a strength for them last year. They couldn't score a lot of runs, but they had, and even with the pitching injuries they had, the guys that filled in did an awesome job. Their bullpen was outstanding last year, and pitching gets you into the playoffs, and once you get there, it allows you to win some games. This year, it hasn't been there. You have Tariq Skubal, and then the rest of the team is just, and offensively, they haven't been themselves. But, okay, they knew they were struggling. They knew they had some holes. All right, trade deadline comes around. They trade for 7 new pitchers. 7. And only 2 of them have posted a positive WAR since their trades. You lost basically every trade. None of the guys that came in made any impact. They've all been bad. And on the other side, you got the Guardians. They're 44-29 since the break. Yeah, they have the 4th worst offense in baseball, but Dude, they knew what they had at the deadline. They were a really bad team. The Cardinals, hell, I just shit on the Cardinals. We embarrassed them. They made our pitching staff look incredible when we played them. They figured things out. They're scoring runs when they need to. They're doing the bare minimum, and it's really easy to do that when you got the White Sox, the Twins, and the Royals in your division, and none of them can score runs. All you got to do is maybe score 3 runs, and they've had the best ERA. Actually, is it the best? Hang on. I need to fact check myself. Yes, the best ERA since the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. So, they're getting pitching, they're playing shitty teams, they're taking care of business, and now they find themselves in first place in the AL Central for the first time in a while.
Oh, yeah. Look, Tigers, figure it out. Detroit sports in general is kind of going through a resurgence, but now you're kind of bringing back the days of old of Detroit fucking sucks. Doesn't matter the sport, Detroit is awful. You go to Detroit to win, that's all it is. Unless you are Detroit, then you go back home and you lose.
And then you
go back right back on the road. I mean, you gotta figure it out, especially since we're by like middle of next week, I think. Regular season's over. We're on to the postseason. We're going to October. We're going to October baseball. You cannot be sacrificing this hard. You cannot be throwing this hard so close to the very dead end of the season. There's a lot of teams right now that they know their season's over as soon as next week hits. They're done. That's it. Look forward to spring training. Enjoy your Cabo trip. That's it. You, however, have a chance to go win something, and you are losing the regular season.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's just, this team had a chance to have the best record in the entire league. They were there. They were the class of the league. And now they're wondering, are we even going to get a first-round bye? I mean, even if they win the division, they come back, the Guardians fall apart, they get the job done, say they win tonight. Dude, you lost the bye. I mean, that's huge. Not having to play those extra games, giving your starters a bit of a rest. And yes, there's the rest versus rust argument. But yeah, the Tigers imploded on themselves. I'm imploding on myself because apparently I can't speak all of a sudden. We're going to move on to our second story, which is Jaxson Dart taking over. And yes, you can read that sub-headline.
Well, hold on.
Wait.
Not to contradict. Let's go back a quick second, because while we were talking about the loss of Tigers and all that, let's talk about, that little thing you got on your head there, the Seattle Mariners. Mariners
I forgot
won the AL West for the first time since 2001.
I'm going to admit, as a show host, that was bad. We have it written in our notes. We're talking about this, and I'm like, oh, well, we talked about this for a long time. Usually our first story's done by now. We'll move on to the second story. I forgot we're talking about both these things.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I am so sorry. That was really bad.
In all fairness, we normally don't do a 2-segment first story. We do a 1-segment first story. So, but to counteract the negativity of the Detroit Tigers losing, the Mariners are on top of their division for the first time since 2001. It took 24 years to get there and a magical catcher. But they got there. They are there. It might be the Nintendo Switch 2 patches. Nintendo might have worked some dark magic. It might have gave them... I don't know. What are you thinking on it?
It's the Etsy Witch. We were struggling. Hire an... Okay, this is my advice to you in life if you're a viewer. You're having a bad... Things aren't going your way. Let's just say, you got fired from your job. Someone hit your car. Things aren't going right. Go on Etsy. Go find that witch. Hire them. It's going to turn your life around. That's the best life advice I can give you because it fixed the Seattle Mariners.
Bank.
I hope she is.
You know they're making bank right now off of this.
She's put in the work, and now the Mariners are going to be in the playoffs, and they have a chance to clinch a bye upcoming, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But here's the thing. This Mariners team has ownership that has been very conservative the last few years, saying, all we got to do is win 54% of our games, and how has that worked out for them? You make the playoffs, you miss it 2 straight years. Now you're right back in it because you went out at the deadline. You said, I want Josh Naylor, I want Eugenio Suarez because our lineup kind of blows. And they've came in, and while Suarez took some time to really start producing, he went through a slump let's be real, he was overproducing anyways. He was going
Oh, yeah.
way out of his tree this year. I mean, a dude hitting 50 bombs. That's not something Suarez usually does. He's like a 30 home run guy. But Naylor has just... If Naylor does not come onto this team, the Mariners are not sitting here right now. He has been everything he was advertised to be and then some since he's joined the squad. And then Julio Rodriguez. Ever since we made these moves, he's figured it out. He's always been a back half of the year type of guy, but Julio, he's hitting 296 with 18 home runs since the All-Star break. And you also got a catcher who just so happens to be 2 home runs away from the AL record right now. And he's going up against a pitcher tonight that gives up hella bombs against a team that can't pitch worth a shit. Already 3 home runs in this series. Aaron Judge, count your days, man. Your days are numbered at the top.
You might lose that record. You might lose that record, Aaron Judge, because, yes, that is another thing. It was a 9-2 win over that they ended up clinching it. But in that same 9-2 win that they clinched, Cal Raleigh himself hit 60. Hit 60. And on top of that, that makes him, I think, the best switch hitter, the best catcher, and
best Mariner.
Like, best Mariner hitter in history. That man etched his name into the history books this season alone. Even if the Mariners don't make it deep into this playoff run, you have a catcher that is phenomenal. Will he have the same season next year? Probably not. This is probably a one-off season, let's be honest here. But the fact that you have him this season, phenomenal.
We needed
Beautiful.
it. Definitely needed it. And I mean, the team is as annoying as they have been when it comes to signing talent and trying to be competitive. You went out, you got a Rosarena. You brought in an old-ass Polanco. J.P. Crawford sticks around. Cal Raleigh is still here. You keep supplementing the bullpen. The rotation's still great. People get hurt and other people can come on in, and they're still producing. That is the sign of a team that can potentially bring home a title. But the MLB playoffs are really volatile, and there's so much random shit that can happen in a baseball game. You never know. I mean, maybe one of these games, Castillo goes out there, he's shoving in the playoffs, and the umpire's like, nah, bro, that's a ball, that's a ball, that's a ball. Shit like that happens in the playoffs, and who knows? But I'm just really happy the Mariners are in. They're my second favorite team. I'm not going to pretend that I've been a day one. The real Mariners fans deserve this a lot more than I do. Just happy to see them have some success and have some parity in the AL West, because we were all getting real tired of the Houston Astros over all these years. It's just, they were the Chiefs, man. They were the Chiefs of this damn division. It didn't matter how bad they were on paper or how good they were on paper. They were going to win the baseball game. But yeah, that's all for baseball stories. Of course, we'll come back to that later with our wins and losses segment. But now we'll get into Jaxson Dart. So, Russell Wilson, you can read it in the subtext there. He was benched because he's ass. He's not good. If the Steelers get rid of a player, you should not sign him. Yeah, he had that great game against the Cowboys. I feel like, Justin, we could throw you out there at quarterback, and you could have a good game against the Cowboys. And I'm not saying you're bad at football.
City, baby.
But
check down City, baby.
I would just target Kyer Elam down there somewhere. All right. Like, their secondary's buns. It's really buns. And I got some stats for you here.
Cam Scadaboo, I'll hand it to him. CTE incarnate. Right there. Run it, buddy.
Literally, I mean, yeah. Like, I feel like anybody realistically could do a better job, and I think Jaxson Dart will do a good job here. But Russell Wilson, take out week 2. He has 0 passing TDs, 2 interceptions, 164 yards passing per game, so average them together. That's not good. Anything under 200 is kind of stinky, especially when you don't have a running game. Oh, and he had like a 50% passing rating. I mean, passing completion percentage. There you go. That's English. That makes sense. He's completing 50% of his passes. That's awful. That's dog terrible. Shit. That is unacceptable.
Even for a veteran, that's awful.
I get he loves his moon balls and goes for the big plays. He's never been the most efficient guy, but come on, man. Complete some passes. So you're benched. And
that Super Bowl win really carries him. That Super Bowl win from years ago really carries him.
He should have won another one. You're on the 1 yard line. Run the fucking football. You win another ring. But instead, you try to throw it intercepted at the goal line. Anyways, I don't
should have been a sign of things to come.
I don't like that Jaxson Dart is starting this week. I like that Russell Wilson was benched, but I feel like Jameis Winston should be the starter because the whole point of drafting him was he's a project. Let's give him time to develop. Let's give him a year to sit. Oh, shit. Okay, we're not winning games. Russell looks really bad. We're all going to get fired if we don't start winning games. So you rush Dart in to save jobs. But you're playing the Chargers this week. That is not the team I would start my rookie QB against for his career debut. That is...
One more week of Russ. One more week. Let him play the Chargers. One more week of Russ, and then start Jaxson Dart for the Saints. You have the Saints right after the Chargers. Why are you throwing him to the Chargers?
And I really think it's because ownership came down and told Dable and told the GM, hey, guys, you're on the hots. You're going to lose your job. We need Dart to start. And it's like, guys, I hate when we do this to quarterbacks. These are people. Like, I understand your jobs are attached to them, but you're risking screwing up his career because you want to rush him in. Mm-hmm. Give the guy a chance. He looked good in the preseason. We both were really high on him. We talked about him a lot on this show. I just don't like doing this. But they have decent pieces. Wan'Dale Robinson's a good receiver. You got a running back who is starting to prove himself. And, of course, you got one of the best wide receivers in the league to throw to in Malik Neighbors. So he has options. I mean, he's probably going to be okay. The Chargers aren't going to have to do a whole lot to win this game.
I think he's going to put up more of a fight than Russell Wilson would have.
But I don't like starting him here. I really give me a few weeks of Jameis. Eventually, Jameis will get himself benched. He's done that everywhere he's gone in the league. He'll give you some good games. He'll keep you in some. Eventually, he's going to screw up, and that's when Jaxson Dart could have came in later in the season.
Mm-hmm. No, and what's funny is for here, Dable announced it yesterday that not only is Dart moving, Russ being the backup. So Jameis isn't even the backup. They're not even demoting him all. Jameis is still QB3 and he's still sitting there, which doesn't sit right with me. If anything, Jameis should have been bumped up QB1, Jaxson Dart QB2, Russell QB3. You know you don't have anything in Russell. You signed him to a 1 year, and he's still technically getting paid by Denver.
Oh,
a 1 year veteran minimum contract.
I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. My microphone said you don't get to talk today. But you sign him to a 1 year veteran minimum contract, and it's like, okay. You're getting it done. But not only is he moving him up to QB1 for this week, he also said in that same press conference, Dart's the starter for the rest of the year. He promised that Dart is now the starter for the rest of the year. We are 3 games deep.
Yeah, that's a big.
That means for the next 15 weeks, almost 4 months, 5 months, almost 5 months. For the next 5 months, what is supposed to be a developmental quarterback. Not saying he's not good. He's supposed to be developing, though. You have him starting on a team that is not ready for him to start. So no, Jameis should have gotten the nod as QB1. Dart should have been QB2. And if you were going to make Dart QB1, why put him through the gauntlet of this is a trial by fire. This is all that this is. This is a trial by fire. Hey, you look good in preseason. Win this game.
Yeah, this is just Giants incompetence, but we're used to it at this point. I mean, they haven't been competent in years, and this is exactly what you get.
Awful.
It's also awful. It starts with the ownership. Their owner's a hack, just an idiot.
What was it? Hard Knocks last year. I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philly. Saquon goes to Philly and wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's because
and has a 2,000-yard rushing season.
Yeah, I just whatever, man. Just old hacks. I mean, he's one of the reasons why we have all the taunting penalties. He's related to one of the original owners of the Giants, one of the earliest owners in the NFL. Oh, I can't have taunting in my game. The professionalism. Dude, there's no professionalism in football anyways. You just added those stupid-ass rules, and it makes the games less fun to watch. But I digress. We're going to move into our final story of the weekly wrap-up, which is some not-so-great news, followed by some funny news. let's just start things off with the Chicago Blackhawks. They're going through their dynasty in the 2010s. But behind the scenes, you have a video coach who is diddling other players and like sexually assaulting them and demeaning them and doing things for sexual pleasure, which is very illegal. And then he's also doing it to high schoolers. The dude's a felon. The dude's a piece of shit. The Blackhawks know about this and say, I kind of like winning, and I don't really want the team to know about this, so we're just going to hide it and not bring it to light. So they win, 3 cups? What was it, like 2010, 2016. What was the other one? Why am I blanking? I don't care. I'm a Blues fan. Fuck you guys. So, yeah, then the NHL comes back and, like, fines the Blackhawks a couple $1 million. Like, $2 million. And they say, you guys should probably get rid of your management. So the NHL did not handle it well, in my opinion, at all. The Stanley Cups you won should have an asterisk next to them. Your team was actively covering up a crime, a felony.
2010, 2013,
2013,
and 2015.
Well, I was thinking 2013, but then I was like, I couldn't. I knew the Bruins were in the finals, and I was like, I think it was the Blackhawks, but I don't want to say it on air, so I'm just going to say the ones I know.
Oh, yeah.
I just think the NHL handled it really poorly originally, and there's still lawsuits happening, and that's why we're bringing it back up, because they just filed. There was another lawsuit filed, and they settled out of it. We don't have the details, but the fact is, a lot of players were affected by this. You had grooming. You had harassment. You had threats. You had assault for sexual gratification all happening in your organization, and you knew about it, and you hid it, and they weren't properly punished for it. And to this day, you're still seeing repercussions from that legally. I just wanted to bring it up again because I think this is also damning that Stan Bowman, Al McIsaac, and Joe Quenneville, 3 guys that were like directly responsible for the cover-up, that were kind of, get out of the league for a little bit. Get out of the spotlight. They all have jobs again.
They're all reinstated. As of July of 2024, they were all reinstated into the NHL.
Dog, like they can't have jobs again. You covered up a crime. I don't care how much you knew or didn't know. It happened in your organization. You heard about it.
This might be a little drastic. This is like if Bill Cosby were to get hired for like a remake of The Big Bang Theory, and they give him like 15 more seasons. Like, you will actively know what he did. You actively, you know the situation. You know that he's convicted. You know all this. And you're like,
I'd say that's a bit extreme because the guy who did it's like he's jail time, been charged. But I get where you're coming from. Like, these organizations know this happened within.
Perfect example. It was either he was either a ballet instructor or an ice skate instructor. I remember that. The dad like pounced on him at court. That dude, he would like teach girls for the Olympics, but he was also doing the same sort of disgusting behavior towards them. And the dad is like, "Can I get 5 minutes in a room with him?" And the judge is like, "No," and he's like, "Well, then I'm just gonna do it in your courtroom." And the dad like pounced at him. So that dude, maybe the Bill Cosby thing was a little excessive.
Yeah,
but minor discrepancies. Dude's a piece of shit.
Well, speaking of minors, no, I mean, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because it wasn't just he was doing it to adults. He also did it to little kids, too. So
He did it to a 16-year-old high school prospect.
That was a lot of dark news, but that was just our opinion. We wanted to bring it back up because this is still happening. The Blackhawks tried to sweep it away. They've tried to move on. They've tried to move past it. They've tried to rebrand themselves. This is something that shouldn't be forgotten. Something that should hang over that organization until the day it eventually contracts, or the league contracts, because it's really bad. I mean, there's not many teams that can say, like, there's crazy stories that have happened with all of them. Crazy things have happened to every team that's ever existed. Criminals have come in and out. Bad things have happened. That's inexcusable that you covered it up. But our last story that we have for you, the San Jose Sharks are another team that's at the bottom of the league. They're in the Blackhawks boat, where they had some years of being relevant, except they never won a championship. They also definitely didn't win the President's Trophy in 2015, but they have a banner hanging up in their stadium right now that says that they did, because they just redid all their banners and they printed them, and they made a mistake while printing. And yeah, all the fans are like, that's that banner. That's not. No, we didn't do that. That's a
No.
like. How did this get approved? How did not one of the workers seeing that be like, huh?
And you know what's funny? It wouldn't have been noticed until the start of the season anyway, when fans were actually in there and if they looked up at the rafters, and they would be like, huh, that's not right.
I don't remember.
Thanks to Mr.
I don't remember us beating the Capitals that year for the President's Trophy. That's kind of interesting.
But thanks to Mr. Curtis Pashelka, a beat reporter for the Sharks, he posted a picture not even realizing what was wrong with the banners. He posted it just showing off the new banners. And yeah, sure enough, it looked like the San Jose Sharks were trying to claim credit for the Washington Capitals President Trophy. So,
yeah,
San
mind
Jose,
you,
that's not good on you.
It's not like they were close. They were 22 points back of the Capitals that year. It wasn't like they finished second and the ownership was like, oh, yeah, I think we finished that. No, you weren't even close, guys. But they did win the President's Trophy back in 09, 08, 09, and they didn't even have a banner for it. So the only one you ever did win, you didn't have a banner.
You don't even have a banner for. Like, did you just misprint the dates? Did you forget the year that you won the banner? Like, you won the trophy?
Yeah.
Or is it kind of like when Mizzou won their natties? They don't claim the natties, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the San Jose Sharks. They're not exactly the greatest organization right now. You know, the Blues just kind of ended their run. 2019, you played a Blues team that you should have beat, except we beat you into the ground. So much so that your best players ended up missing the final games of that series because they just couldn't withstand the physical play of our St. Louis Blues. And, yeah, you definitely didn't win the President's Trophy in 2016.
No.
Your team was really good, just didn't win that. All right, well, that's
Take
all.
the banner down.
That's
Take
all
the banner
for the
down.
weekly
Simple as
wrap-up.
that. Fix it. Take the
And
banner
they
down.
They are.
Like,
The ownership said, hey, we're going to take them down. We're going to get them reprinted. But, like, come on, man. Like, your organization's worth how many millions of dollars, and you didn't catch that? Like, what are we
the
doing?
process to replace those banners has to be so long and strenuous. And it has to go through so many people, not only for approval, but to order and to fact check and do all that. And nobody, not a single person, until you were hanging them up. That means you paid for, printed, shipped, everything. It wasn't until somebody reported on them already being up that you finally realize, oh shit, we just claimed a trophy that doesn't actually belong to us.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's hilarious that this thing still happens. Like, in business around the world, no matter like if it's sports or whatever, the fact that this type of stuff still happens, it's human nature. We make mistakes.
Look, clerical errors happen all the time, but that is going to be one massive clerical error to claim the President's Trophy. And just...
Well, speaking of errors and mistakes, last week we kind of sucked at picking football games. I'm going to be real with you. Was not pretty last week, but I'm holding on to a 3-game lead in our pick'em. This week there's some questionable games that are kind of 50-50. You still got some backups and questions on who's going to be at quarterback. Could be another interesting week of football. And at least if it's not interesting, it'll be entertaining because every Sunday is always entertaining. I just can't watch it because I'm always at work. So I always have to go back and watch the damn highlights. I can't watch Red Zone, and if I am, it's the late window. Anyways, let's get into the games for this week, shall we? We got Thursday night football tonight. We got the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. And I'm just going to go out and say it. Maserati Marv, we're changing your name. You are now Mitsubishi Marv. Until you can prove to me you can catch a football. He just hasn't been good since he's come into the league. Yeah, he had some promise last year. Yeah, he gets open. Yeah, he can find a spot in his zone. But he's just not doing the things that star receivers need to do. Kyler Murray is as aggravating as ever, and James Conner is not going to be in the lineup because he's out for the season. The Seahawks looked really good last week. Give me the Seahawks.
I'm right there with you. Seahawks still have Jaxson Smith-Njigba. They've got Cooper Kupp, who... he needs to get active, but, Cooper Kupp is still there. He's still a viable option. And Kenneth Walker, man. Kenneth Walker has become a beast over the past couple weeks. He's really started to show out. And so, I mean, Arizona has a couple good secondary players, but other than that, they don't really stop the run all too well. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you with Seattle. I think Seattle definitely got this one in the bag. I'm able to watch the game. I'm able to watch the game so I can see in real time if my pick fails or doesn't.
Well, I'm really
well,
happy for you, man. I'm so glad that you can watch the game tonight and that I can't, because I work in media and I don't get to make my own schedule. All right, game number 2. We got the Vikings taking on the Steelers, and this one is one of the most contested picks of the week across ESPN Pick'em. But my counterpoint to it being super contested is I don't think it should be at all. The Vikings last week put up 34 points on offense, being led by Mason and Wentz. I don't... If you can do that with your star players in that game being Carson Wentz and Jordan Mason, I think you can continue to find some success, especially against a Steelers team that has not looked all that good this year. They made the Jets look solid. The Patriots last week would have won that game if they didn't turn over the football 5 times. I got to take the Vikings.
You're a Buffalo fan. You're even getting mad about the Patriots throwing that game. That's wild.
Yeah, because I had the Patriots pick to win. It made me look really stupid in my pick'em leagues because the Patriots had that game won, and they don't give the ball to the right people. You have 2 running backs that continually fumble the ball, and you just drafted a running back in the second round. Give him the football. Give him the ball. Maybe he won't fumble. He was really good at ball security in college.
Yeah,
give him the football, man. So, yeah, this week, I'm going to take the Vikings.
You know, I've got the Vikings. Don't get me wrong. I have my questions about Carson Wentz. I didn't like him in KC last year because he sucked in KC last year. He was awful. How he was the backup quarterback to anybody, I do not know. However, Gardner Minshew's now there, and that's a whole nother, thing. Carson Wentz showed out. Now, that was against a backup quarterback. That was against Jake Browning, and that was against notably one of the worst defenses in the league with Cincinnati. Cincinnati fan, I'm realistic. The defense sucks. It's bad. However, the Steelers are one of the best defenses, always have been. I think it's a lot more of a battle of who's going to score first and who's going to outscore the other. But yeah, give me the Vikings. I still think the Vikings are going to win.
And I will let you know this, Jet, unrelated to the football picks. Your mic has been really good, and then when it's not good, it just cuts out. I don't know what's up with it.
I don't know what's going on with it. It's so odd.
I wonder if maybe whenever you're done with the show today, what if we just have you record on OBS and then see if it cuts out for you? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my internet. I'm in college. We're in a college house right now.
It's Discord. It's Discord. So I'm going to take this off. This is a little extra filter thing. And that might actually be what's jacking it. It might be, it already has a filter on it, and I think I would more filter.
Well, it's still cut down. I think go to Discord settings. They have a setting in there where they'll cut off your mic. They'll take your mic and turn it off if it thinks it's background noise. And maybe the way your mic's sending it to Discord, it's like, oh, if you get loud or you're speaking a certain way, it'll cut you out. So I don't know. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next game.
Is that any better?
Do that. We'll see. We'll just test it out.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, you got the Washington Commanders playing against the Atlanta Falcons. And, dude, I cannot take a team that just lost 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers seriously. You can't. That was a really poor performance. You outgained them on offense. You did a lot of things on the box score really well. But you turned over the football, and you didn't score a lot of points. As a matter of fact, you didn't score any points. You have big 0 on the board. First shutout of the year to the Panthers. They're not a good football team. Their defense is nothing special, dog. Whatever, man. But the Falcons, bad. I'm taking the Commanders because it doesn't matter who starts. Mariota looks really good in this offense. Jaden Daniels, you already know what he looks like in this offense. Even with people being injured, they are running the ball.
He's back this week.
Yeah. And, well, he's technically not cleared yet, but you're right. He's probably
not cleared yet.
Yeah. Medically, he says he's good to go. He's probably going to play. But if I'm the Commanders, and there's a question of whether or not he should be starting, Mariota, go out there, get me another W. The Commanders, I mean, they're not you look at their running back room, You're like, man, I mean, nothing really impresses me. JCM doesn't put up a lot of fantasy points. Look at the rushing yards. They're one of the top rushing teams in the league this year.
And funny enough, you should bring up Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. No practice again today for Commanders running back Bill Krosky-Merritt and wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Both of them did not practice today.
I think they'll be fine. It's the Falcons. After last week, Penix's confidence has to be in the dumpster. Hell, he got benched for Kirk Cousins, dog. That's bad. It's 2025.
Who initially was benched for him.
Right.
Like, ooh.
Your coach didn't have enough faith in you to finish the football game. So give me the Commanders. You're taking the Commanders as well. The next game we got, there's a lot riding on this one for me personally. I know you're excited about it.
Oh.
I'll
viewers, y'all, chat clip this. Chat clip this. I want you to hear what he says.
I'll let you lead us off and I'll finish it up.
I'm picking the Bills, obviously. Because why wouldn't I? Bills versus Saints. Saints are 0-3. Bills are 3-0. Bills look like they are the favorites to win it all, which, I mean, going into the season, both me and you speculated that they were going to make the Super Bowl. They are getting their shit together. They never had their shit falling apart, but they're getting their shit together to be that power team. 41-40 to start the season against the Ravens. The Saints literally are tanking. They're just tanking. There's no other way around it. And thank God the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu left when he did, because that would be a stain on his career right now. It was a stain on his career when he was there the past few years. The Bills, by 1,000,000% guaranteed, no doubt in my mind. However, Mr. Zuggy, please tell us the stakes if the Bills lose for you, because you are the Buffalo fan.
So I'm putting a promise on this one, and I'll give you the credit for it originally. Basically, if the Saints somehow win this football game, which look at the pick'em stats there, 1% of people, and probably not even 1% because it doesn't show decimal places, had the Saints winning this. 99-1. If the Bills somehow lose and the Saints win, we're going to record me doing a polar plunge in the bathtub. We're going to fill it up with cold water, fill it up with ice, and I'm going to jump into that mug because we are not losing to the Saints. Now, we are a bad team when it comes to trap games. We've struggled over the last few years in trap games. We don't usually cover the spread. This is one of those times. The spread is, 16.5? Give me the Bills on paper and with the spread. We're dominating. We're taking this one home. If the Seahawks can do what they just did, we can do it. And also, the Saints' special teams are, I understand the whole team's bad. Their special teams is like a special type of dog shit.
Terrible.
So, I'm expecting maybe a kickoff return in this one, too. Put that on there. I'm making some bold predictions, but we're covering the spread. There's an ice bath on the line, and we're going to return a kick at some point in this one.
Oh, man. This one's going to be fun. I'll watch this game like a hawk. I am going to eyeball this game all day. I need to look and see if it's on YouTube TV. Please, for the love of God, let it be on YouTube
TV.
TV.
If not, there's a few websites out there that'll let you watch it for free.
This is true. However,
Sports Surge, dab me up.
Sports Surge. I will say this, though. For students like me and you and any other college kids or high school kids or whatever that may be listening out there, $120 for the whole NFL season on YouTube TV. That's not bad. Not sponsored.
Yeah, we're not sponsored. I wish we were.
Not sponsored.
But we're not.
Not a bad deal. That's better than paying like $380 for the whole season. You pay $120 and that's it. You're done. You watch all the NFL games that they have available in your respective market. But anyway.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our next game. We poo-pooed on the Brownies last week before they played. Because they're wearing the shit brown helmet. Dude, your logo is an orange helmet. Why are we wearing a brown helmet? Why are you sponsored by Dude Wipe and you're called the Browns?
You have such a better logo in the dog.
Yeah.
In the pit bull.
In the pit bull.
Yeah,
or even the old elf thing that you had. It's not hateful.
Brownie the elf. That is his name. You could use the elf. For fuck's sake. Use the elf. Why a brown helmet? God, you look terrible. Anyway, we're poo-pooing on him again.
Yeah, okay. So I do say that. Dude, if you're the Dude Wipes executive and you landed the sponsorship, I know everybody in the whole office was like, yes, we're dude wide we sponsor the Browns. And all the fans were like, bro, what are we doing? The dude wide
Browns to the Super Bowl.
You're just calling us
Browns to the
shit.
Super Bowl.
But yeah, this week, okay, you got Detroit facing off against the Browns. The Browns pull off the upset last week against Green Bay. Green Bay couldn't get anything going. The Browns defense is legitimately good. It's just the offense isn't right now. And I look at this game and say, look, the Browns have one of the best run defenses in the entire league. And you know the Lions love to run the rock. That's going to be a clash of titans down there. The trench warfare is going to be crazy in this one. Except, this is one of those games for Jameson Williams where I'm like, if you got him in fantasy, start his ass. Because they are going to have to go 1v1 on the outside. They're not going to be able to double team him because they're going to have to invest so many resources to stop the short game and stop everything underneath that he's going to get a deep ball or two in this one, and he's going to house it.
And Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to have to, because Amon-Ra is the number one. You're going to have to double him, or at least have two guys looking at him. It's just going to be 1v1s for Jameson Williams out there. I really do think if they just play defense the way that they're going to have to win this football game, start him. Bet some overs on him. I know I didn't this week for Battle of the Bets because there's some other things I wanted to bet on, but give me the Lions and give me Jameson Williams over on everything.
Yeah, no, I mean that's so I have the Lions on my pick. Don't get it twisted. And what's funny is 98% of people pick the Detroit Lions. That means 2% pick the Browns. That means there's a little bit of hope in Cleveland that people are picking the Browns.
No. No.
You're not getting it 2 weeks in a row. I'm sorry, Cleveland. That is wishful thinking. That is so wishful thinking that it's not even funny. However, Detroit, I think Amon-Ra is going to have a great game. I think David Montgomery's not going to do well rushing because he's the brute enforcer, and he can't brute enforce that D-line. He can't. Like, that D-line's good. However, Jahmyr Gibbs, if that O-line can open up even the slightest hole in that line, he's gone. Gone, because the secondaries are going to be so worried about, Amon-Ra going deep and Jameson trying to cut across, and they're going to try and cover him. If they make even the slightest hole, Gibbs is running it down. So, give me the over on pretty much everything with Lions. Lions related, Lions by a million.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I'm not going over on any of the team stats because the Browns' defense is still very respectable. I'm just going over on all the individual stuff for Jahmyr and Jameson Williams. I'm with you on that. I think that's a really good assessment because this is the type of game where Gibbs is going to succeed. They're going to give him some touches, some toss plays, some stuff that isn't just running the ball up the middle, and he's going to find ways to make some guys miss like he always does and use that speed to get himself into the end zone. The next game we got is kind of a stinker, not one that many people are going to want to tune into. It's the Panthers, it's the Patriots, and the 22% of people that took the Panthers in this one, and maybe I'm crapping on you because I don't know who you took, I feel like they just watched the box score last week and said, 30-0, that's dominant. Dude, the Falcons beat themselves. The Panthers didn't have to do anything. It was just the Panthers tripping over themselves.
The Pats beat themselves.
Right. It's just two teams that aren't amazing, but the Patriots have a better head coach, a better quarterback. I think this will work out in their favor in this one. But the Patriots do have a weakness, a glaring weakness, actually. If you look at the stats, their secondary is not that good. It's really not. But you know who's throwing the ball on the other side? It's Bryce Young. So I think that kind of cancels out in this one. You look at the rest of the team, I'm taking the Patriots here.
Oh, yeah. Look, the Patriots overall on paper have a better team. They invested more in their team. They diversified their funding all around the field, not just on offense and not just specifically on defense. They went out, paid for their new coach. They got O-line help. They got defensive help. They brought in a veteran wide receiver to help for Drake May. They want to build around Drake May. They're not doing the same mistake of what they did with Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones, where they just alternated between the two and they couldn't figure out which one they wanted to start. No, they are investing in Drake May. They want Drake May. And Drake May is good. He can do that for them. They need to work out the kinks. They need to work out the kinks of the fumbles because that's what's killed them every single time. They just need to work out those little bit of issues that they have. The Patriots should have this game easily. The only reason the Patriots will lose this game is if they beat themselves like they did last week. If they get in their heads like they did to themselves last week, Patriots are checked. They're done. Over. Just consider the game over with. And the Panthers might be riding a high of, we beat 2 teams in a row. You're bad. You're bad. Don't cheer. You're bad. 30-0 to the Falcons. The Falcons don't even know what they're doing.
They should have won 2 games in a row because that Cardinals game, they had every opportunity to win.
Yeah.
And you saw Bryce Young, once again, couldn't get the job done in the clutch. So I feel like he has to have a good game for them to win. He's going to have to win the Panthers this football game. I don't think he can do it.
No.
But you got another game here where we got some question marks, at least at QB. And Jaxson Dart's going to have one hell of a game if they want to win this one.
Come on.
But we're both taking the Chargers. Let's be real here.
It's the Chargers.
The last time the Giants, so I'm not going to count the Chiefs game because the Chiefs are battered. They're not doing great. The last time they played against a real offense, they give up 40 points to the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of expect the same thing to happen here.
Look, the 4% that picked the Giants, you're hopeful that Jaxson Dart is going to bring the first win of the season, which I don't blame you. Jaxson Dart is phenomenal. He's great.
We hope.
Perfect.
The little bit we've seen, he's looked really good.
We hope. He's looked really good. However, you're going against the Chargers. You're going against Herbert, who's had time to develop in a system with Harbaugh. You're going against Amarian Hampton, who's done really well at running back. You're going against Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen. I mean, those 3 are probably one of the best wide receiver cores we're seeing in the NFL in its entirety. Like, shockingly, Quentin Johnston has not dropped near as much. He is like a career resurgence this year. Normally in the past, you're like, really, Johnston? Why? He's awful. He's terrible.
He'll get open and then he just drops everything. But this year, he's catching it.
People are going out of their way to trade for him in fantasy. So, like, he's good. You are throwing Jaxson Dart in a horrible position. I like Dart. I literally said at the beginning of the season, you're giving him time to develop behind Russell. I don't like Russell. He's awful. But why wouldn't you throw Jameis Winston out there, man? Winston, at least you're going to have a charismatic QB. Even with a loss, you can at least have a QB that's going to keep morale high in a loss. No, you're throwing Dart out there and you're like, the rookie got it. No, the rookie doesn't got it. Not against the Chargers. Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, after week 1, and I'm in like an 8-man league, so it's one of the 3 leagues I'm in. And I saw after week 1 that like Quentin Johnston wasn't on a team, and I'm like, why? Like, even if he's not going to be great, he gets a lot of targets. Maybe he's a good backup if you have a bye week, whatever. And just no one had any interest in him. Nobody even put a bid in. So I'm like, well, it's Wednesday. He's still there. I'll pick him up. Why not? And since then, he's been really, really, really good for me. And then I just made another trade. I'll talk about that at the end of the segment. I need to know if this trade was a W or an L, which I won't throw in the W's and L segment, but I do want to hear from you guys. Anyways, next game, Eagles, Buccaneers. Fun game. People going a little bit back and forth on this one on who they think's going to win. 31% going with the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers don't have a fully healthy O-line. So that pass rush for the Eagles is going to get home a lot on Baker. And both of these teams have kind of squeaked by in a lot of their wins, but the Eagles' wins have been more impressive. And the Buccaneers, they're a fun team. We really love watching them. We love Baker Mayfield. I just don't think they have enough to get this one done, especially with Evans potentially being out. And yeah, you're getting Godwin back, but just
that's heartbreaking.
That Baker to, like, let's just say late in the game, it's 4th down. Who's the ball usually going to? It's going to Evans. He's the guy who's going to make that play for you. You don't have that this week, so give me the Eagles.
Yeah, look, honestly, this was probably one of my harder picks for the week. This genuinely was. Because while Evans is out and yes, they have some O-line issues, the Bucs just find a way to bring it in every time. They find a way to, get it done. So, to be completely honest, I was like, man, this is really hard because the Eagles are on, a generational run. They're doing phenomenal. but the Bucks find a way to like have that gritty spirit out of them. So I was like, do I go with the generational run or do I go with the grit? And ultimately, you got to go with the generational run. I mean, they both squeaked by, but the Eagles have a more complete roster. They still have their targets. They still have their O-line, their D-line. That the Eagles are the clear-cut choice. Now, saying that, I might be dead wrong, and the Bucks might pull off an upset. But give me Eagles over the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm really bummed this is in the 12 p.m. time slot. I was really hoping this would be like a game of the week type of game that you'd see on Fox so I could watch it after I got off work. Because this one's a fun one to look at. But if you would have said a week ago, let's just say, let's get rid of last week for both of these teams and say week 3 they're playing. So the Eagles are coming off of their win over the Chiefs. And then the Buccaneers are coming off that, I believe, Houston win. I might have taken the Bucs. I might have. Because the Eagles looked kind of human. They were struggling, but they have such... I'm assuming that locker room is just having so much fun after last week. To walk it off, a big man run that all the way back off a block kick. Dude. Like,
big man,
the way they won that game was awesome. And to come back 19 points down, I believe, at some point in that game, I think that's what the number was, they got to be feeling good. So, yeah, we're both going Eagles here, but we're both really looking forward to this one. This is must-watch television. This one
should have been the Sunday night.
This game right here, flex it to, I don't know, C-SPAN. Put it on C-SPAN. Like, nobody wants to watch this football game.
ESPN Plus, bottom.
No, that's too much. I'm saying put it on like what? What's it like the shopping channel? Like, we don't need to see this football game. Nobody wants to. Texans fans don't want to watch this one. Titans fans maybe because they'll get their first win of the year potentially. But the most points the Titans have scored this year is 20. And a lot of these points are coming in garbage time or the first half against the Rams where the Rams just didn't look all that good. I think they need more than 20 in this one. Their defense is really, really bad. And while Houston is struggling in their own right and C.J. Stroud does not look good, I compared him to Derek Carr. That might be an insult to Derek Carr at this point because he is playing really shitty football. And that O-line is not good.
He's worse.
But you also had, I believe Snead this week was calling out Nico Collins, saying, Nico Collins, who? Dude, you're 0-3 on the Titans. You can't be calling people out like that. You can't.
Look.
You're just motivating a team that's dead. They are dead. The Texans are dead to rights.
I get that. I like L'Jarius. I like that he still has that fire. And I think it's funnier that L'Jarius made it well known when he went to he did not want to leave the Chiefs. He wanted to be a part of the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just traded him away because he was asking too high of a price, or they just didn't have the money to pay him at the moment. And I like that you're getting that motivation to try and hype up your teammates, but really, Nico Collins who?
Yeah,
Nico Collins is the only one on the Texans who's actually doing anything. It would have been better saying CJ who, or whoever their running back is who, or like any of their defensive players who. But Nico?
Yeah.
Nico, the one good part of the Texans this season, you're going to say Nico who? Really, dude? Really, dude?
I wouldn't call him out because the Texans have nothing right now. Like from a morale standpoint, they got a whole lot of nothing to play for. I mean, everybody in the locker room probably feels like shit. The confidence level's down here. You're giving them something to play for by calling out one of their top players. I don't like that. Also, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's out of here. He was a cancer. He was bringing down the locker room. He's out. He's probably going back to the Eagles. Let's be real here. But yeah, we're taking the Texans in this one, right? You're taking the Texans?
Yeah, no, I'm taking Texans.
Okay,
under
making sure.
10%.
We got the Colts and the Rams. This is also must-watch television. The Rams are always good. They're always good. Ever since they've traded for Stafford, they've been a competitive football team. Then they got Devontae Adams in there and Puka Nacua. And they have the run game starting to actually produce. They look really solid. And then you blew a massive lead. Both of the blocked kicks against the Eagles. If I'm a special teams coach, I'm smashing my clipboard everywhere. Like, you got to block somebody. You can't let someone just straight up hurdle over you without a touch. Like, what, bruh. Anyways, I digress. I'm looking at this game and saying, the Rams this season had a game where they only scored 14 against Houston, and we know Houston is not that good. You had a really slow start in the first half against the Titans. You eventually figured it out. Didn't play a full 60 minutes. And then you just blew a 19-point lead against Philly, another game where you just didn't play consistently throughout. The Colts have dominated every team in every quarter and every drive across the entire season. Daniel Jones, who I was a big hater of. And I still don't fully believe in the... I don't believe in the Colts. I'm not going to say I still don't believe. It's just straight up, I don't believe in them. This doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
But yet, I'm taking them against the Rams because I'm looking at the resumes coming into this one. I look at the matchup and say, this is one the Colts could get, and this would be a big, huge statement win for them.
Oh, yeah. No, I've got the Colts, too. I picked the underdog on this one. But, yes, I'm a hater of the Rams. I do not like the Rams in the slightest. That's not why I picked this. The Rams are relying on Matt Stafford, and Matt Stafford is really starting to show his age. Things are not as dominant as they were. He is throwing some deep balls to Devontae, and Puka Nacua is doing phenomenal. If you have Puka in fantasy, you are one lucky SOB. You really are.
You should trade him to me. I'll take him.
Yeah. Give me Puka.
I need more receivers. It's not like I just traded for 2 good ones. I need more. Here, give me 3. Give me 4.
I want Puka, please. Puka, please. Anyway, but all of those pieces, that doesn't necessarily equate to you winning this. Because, for whatever reason, Daniel Jones, as soon as he's out of New York, is dropping bombs on every team. Now, they've had a rough, they had a pretty easy schedule so far. And the Rams are probably their toughest opponent that they've come into so far. Man, though, Indy has really showed this is why we trust Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson, which Anthony Richardson has not really given anything to anybody to trust him with. So the job was kind of very obviously open between the two, but Daniel Jones took it and has not looked back, and he's been dominant. Yeah, I've got the Colts on this one. I can't pick the Rams.
Well, you got to think about it. Sam Darnold last year, he comes through the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell fixes him. Look at his career now. He's doing great. Doing good things in Seattle. Sitting behind him was Daniel Jones. And Kevin O'Connell got to work with Daniel Jones. And you're seeing this year, now he went to Shane Steichen, 2 guys that are well known for their quarterback developing abilities. Maybe this is legit. And also, you had Kirk Cousins, who was playing like at an MVP level under Kevin O'Connell. And then he gets injured, comes to the Falcons, and looks like shit. I'm just saying, Kevin O'Connell's working some magic, man. He is churning out quality QBs.
Dude, Kevin O'Connell is just the phenomenal coach. Phenomenal coach.
All right,
but
we're going to move on.
Colts, moving to the next game.
All right, it's another shit fest. It's another game that I don't really care to watch, but I will because I'm a football fan.
It's a coastal war, East versus West.
Both teams just don't look
we have a 50-50 split.
On the last game?
I didn't notice that. On Indy versus the Rams, we have a 50-50 split. All right. We love to see that.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a real fun one.
It's going to be a great game.
This one's not. The Jaguars, dude, they have pieces. I mean, if T-Law could just develop into a decent quarterback, this team would be solid. But he's just inconsistency embodied in a human being. And then you got the 49ers, who everyone's dead. Kittle's dead. Bosa's out for the season. Mac Jones is still starting games, and maybe Purdy comes back, but no matter who starts this game for the 49ers, I'm going to take them because at least their team knows what it takes to win, and they've gone through some really tough football games as of late, and they found ways to get it done, which is a lot more than I can say about the Jacksonville Jaguars, who earlier this season found a way to lose to Jake Browning in a game where they basically had it wrapped up. So yeah, give me the Niners here.
I've got the Niners, but that's also because I'm really hoping Brock Purdy comes back because he's one of my quarterbacks in my other league. I had Purdy and Burrow in my other league.
Yeah.
So imagine how much I was stressed when both of them went down in the same week, and I had to pick up Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones came through for me, though. Thank God.
He might be better than. I think he is better than Brock Purdy fantasy wise. I would just keep Daniel Jones.
Actually, shockingly, Brock Purdy was better, but
maybe this year. But I think in the long run, if Daniel Jones keeps doing what he's doing, Think he'll
Daniel
be
Jones
more
might be the starter.
viable.
Oh yeah. Now, once Burrow comes back, he's getting dropped.
Yeah.
But that's also because my fantasy team's name is Purdy Nasty. I can't portray
Maybe
Purdy.
you trade him. How many teams is in the league
Maybe.
that you're talking about? Is it
It's
our league?
It's an A team. It's
Okay,
an A
so
team.
no.
No, nobody wants him. I took him knowing full well that he's mine. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, Niners. There's nothing that I like about Jacksonville. Not a single thing. Their receivers are not that great. Their run game is probably their best part, but Trevor Lawrence, he is either a hospital ball merchant or he is an interception merchant. He doesn't know anything other than hospital or interception.
Yeah, and Brian Thomas can't catch a football. He's supposed to be one of your biggest weapons. He's a guy you invested a lot of draft stock into, a guy who was really solid for you last year, who you get a new coach coming in, you're rewriting the playbook, you're scheming. Okay, this guy's going to be a big part of our team this year. He's really let the Jags down. But our next game coming up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. I know we have some differences on this one. I'll let you open things up.
Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. No, genuinely, I think that the Ravens are the ones to go for here. The Ravens have the better roster. They have the Lord. They've got the better receivers. They've got the better roster. They're all around better. And on top of that, KC is struggling. Like, they're struggling both culture-wise, identity-wise. They really don't know what to get done right now. So I think that's going to bleed into Baltimore. Or that's going to bleed into this Baltimore game. I think Baltimore takes it. I don't think they let KC step all over them because they're already aggravated from last week. KC right now is just feeling defeated. They're 1-2. They haven't been 1-2 in the longest time. Yeah, they're riding a win, but they're riding a win off of the Giants. And it was not even like a good win. It was like a close win that they should have lost. So yeah, no, give me the Ravens.
I'm going against my better judgment here. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs because of the historical side of this. Lamar Jackson has really struggled against Spagnola's defenses, and I shouldn't even say really struggled. He's done an okay job in regular season matchups that, okay, we're fighting for the 1 seed. This game means a lot, but it's not the end of the world. They put up a lot of points. The Chiefs find a way to win. Right now, this is must win for both these squads. They know that. Neither team wants to be 1-3. 1-3 feels like a death sentence. 1-3 feels like we're probably not going to be able to compete for our own division. That we're probably going to be a wild card team this year if you don't win this football game. And the Kansas City Chiefs are going to dip into that playbook. They're going to be in desperation mode. And also Xavier Worthy is back this week. They finally have a receiver to throw to. They're going to find a way to win this football game. And I'm an expert on Chiefs bullshit. You see the shirt I'm wearing? I'm an expert on this shit. You're a Chiefs fan from last year. You knew what it was like.
Yeah.
This team finds bullshitty ways to win. I don't know.
Black magic.
Maybe they gave Russell Wilson some uncooked chicken before last game. They hired the chef and gave him some food poisoning, and that's why he was awful. I'm sure they do some crazy shit. This organization is crazy. They have so many tricks up their sleeve. Maybe this week they're going to, I don't know, maybe they're going to fuck over the Ravens locker room. And I don't know, man. The Chiefs will do something. Something crazy is going to happen in this football game. There's going to be a bad call at some point. The Chiefs will win this football game by a single score, and everyone's going to be questioning how the hell they did it.
Either way, one of the top AFC teams is going to walk out at 1-3. You know how bad that is?
I want a tie. Give me a tie.
I want a tie.
Give me a tie.
1-2-1. 1-2-1.
Give us a tie.
Probably one of the arguably worst stat lines they could have coming out of this weekend. 1-2-1. I'd be embarrassed.
Dude, can you give me like a 30-30 tie? Like a real good game. A game that comes down to the wire. Chiefs kick a field goal with time expiring. We're going to OT. and then both teams just fuck the ball for overtime, and nobody scores, and we get a tie. That would be the best outcome possible. We got the Bears and the Raiders, and man, last week, the Bears, I won't say they made a statement, but they definitely improved in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes offensively. It helps when the opposing team's secondary is a JV squad, because the Cowboys, once again, they couldn't stop either one of us throwing a football. They're bad. They are really, really bad, and the Bears have some good receivers. Roma Dunze is great. Luther Burden's great. Colston Loveland's actually looking okay all of a sudden. I mean, he's not like, they didn't draft him to be crazy. Also, Cole Kmet's great, and then why am I blanking on his name? Damn it. Anyways, they have weapons all over the board. They scripted out their first 20-25 plays of the game as they do like any other football team. Caleb Williams got the job done. He was able to throw downfield accurately for once. If they have that offensive performance, even something close to it this week, they beat the Raiders, who are not a very good football team.
I love your pick. It's a good pick.
Shit, you're taking the Raiders.
And I understand the reasoning. But you're dead wrong.
Oh.
You're dead wrong.
Am I now?
You are. It's the Raiders. It's the Raiders. The Bears played the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Cowboys don't have a pass rush. Their secondary sucks.
Yeah.
All around, the Cowboys are awful. Their defense or their offense is their saving grace, and CeeDee Lamb's out. They won that because it was the Cowboys, and their defense is ass. Simple as that.
But
if you didn't beat the Cowboys, I'd be more. Max Crosby alone on the Raiders is going to pressure that line so hard that Caleb Williams is going to panic and run out of the pocket so many times, resulting in sacks, that he's going to have more sacked yards than he does passing yards. Meaning, I believe he'll run 50 yards on the other end of the field and get sacked more than he'll throw for 20 yards in the right direction. And that's just defensive alone. Don't get me wrong. Raiders offense, not great. Why you're trusting Geno Smith, I will never know. I don't pretend to know. Jacoby Myers isn't bad. That one wide receiver that's like popped off last week, one and done. I don't think you're doing much either. I don't think the Raiders are necessarily the better team. I think the Raiders are just better than the Bears.
I don't know. After seeing some of the practice footage I've seen and watching the game last week and seeing a Bears team actually take belt to ass, which is something you do not see very often. When the Bears win, it's usually, damn, our offense kind of looked like shit and our defense bailed them out. They looked good for once. I'm not saying they're a good football team, but the Raiders do not inspire me in the slightest. Pete Carroll, great head coach. Buddy, at some point you got to call it quits because this just isn't it. I mean, the Raiders are a bad football team, but this next game, it's going to be fun to watch. It's a game we all expect the Packers to win, but this is Micah Parsons coming home, and the Packers are bent after last week. You lost to the Brownies. You looked like poop. They're supposed to be the poo-poo team, not you. You're supposed to be Super Bowl contenders.
They're supposed to be boo-boo.
You killed the Lions. You killed the Commanders. You lost to the Browns. Yeah, they're not doing that again. This week, belt to ass, take care of business. The Cowboy secondary is shit. We've been poo-pooing on it all show. Jordan Love is going to have himself a nice day, and the Packers are going to get the job done.
Sorry, I'm putting up a poll in the chat right now that is very interesting, and I want you to go ahead and...
Oh, yeah, I'll take a look at it.
No, I have Green Bay.
Cowgirls.
I have Green Bay all the way. I don't think the Cowboys have a shot at this. I think Dak Prescott's finally going to learn what it's like having Parsons on the other side of the ball and why he is feared the way that he is. And I think Jerry Jones is going to realize he should have paid the man and kept that part of his defense on there. And, I mean, Jordan Love, I think he's just going to tune it. Every time last year he had one of these rut games, ended up in the next game he was fine. I think it's the same thing. I think they're just going to tune it up. They're going to get better, and he's going to be perfectly okay. I don't think there's any cause for alarm of a Green Bay fallout. I think it's purely just it was a bad game. and it came down to a last-minute field goal, and the Browns got lucky.
All right.
I got Green Bay.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. You got the New York Jets playing against the Miami Dolphins, who are back there. It's 0-3 versus 0-3. It could be Tyrod
Oh my
Taylor.
God, I'm going to be sick.
It could be Tyrod Taylor.
Dude.
It could be Justin Fields. And the fact that I'm taking the Jets, I feel disgusting because the Dolphins played us really well last week. But also, we hurt ourselves a lot on third down, and we were very injured. Our defensive line, I mean, having Ed Oliver out and Matt Milano, it just opened things up for the Dolphins, and they still couldn't throw the ball down the field because Tua looks like dog shit right now.
Tua's awful.
I'm looking at this game.
Tua's going to tank you.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game, and I'm saying the Dolphins have, and I'm going off of something that happened a few seasons ago, and one of the people in chat was actually in attendance for this game. Justin Fields against the Dolphins set the record for most rushing yards by a QB in a game in NFL history. And the Dolphins, once again this year, cannot stop the run whatsoever and don't have much of a pass rush. So if Justin Fields gets to scramble, or even Tyrod Taylor, he still has legs, that's going to be really tough for the Dolphins to have to deal with, and their secondary has plumbers and pipe fitters on it right now. Everyone's hurt, and anyone that was starting in the first place wasn't good anyways. So the Jets are not a good football team. I'm not saying they are. I don't have a lot of faith in them. There's a reason why both these teams are 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was ever a week for the Jets to get a W, which they have to win one eventually,
this week,
give it to me this week.
This week. Here's the thing. I think the Dolphins are going to play hard this week. I think they're going to try and win this week. Hardcore. I've got the Dolphins on my. But I also think the Dolphins are going to win because if they don't, Mike McDaniels is out the door. He's done. It's over. Chalked. 0-4 to start a season, and you're going against another 0-3 team that is awful. Brother, pack your bags. Don't even bother walking into the locker room. Just walk right back upstairs, pack your office, and leave. Don't bother walking in the locker room after the game if you... Well, I'm so dead serious.
If that's the case...
I want Miami to win because I think if Miami loses, Mike McDaniel loses his job. And that'd be really depressing to see Mike McDaniels lose his job. Aaron Glenn has a little bit of security because it's his first year in a rebuild year, right? And he did real well with Detroit last year. Although, I have a little bit of reservations with Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. It seems like they threw the Lions season when they both had the head coach job before the season was even over. But no, I think this is a make or break moment for Mike McDaniels. Either you win this game or, dude, you're done. It's chalked. So I got the Dolphins, but I think that's because, I think the Dolphins are going to fight hard. And if they're not going to fight hard, then that shows that the players have lost touch with Mike McDaniels too. So give me the Dolphins, but I'm almost expecting to lose this one.
Has our resident Dolphins fan left a comment on this one?
No, but right now it is 50-50 in the polls. One
nice,
for the Jets and one for Miami.
We do have some breaking news coming out of Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani has hit his career high in the Dodgers' single-season home run record with home run 54, and he hit it into the pool in Arizona. All right, our final game, and it's another shitty one. ESPN, please stop with this whole 2 Monday Night Football games. Just give me one good one. I would have really liked to see the Chiefs and the Ravens on Monday Night Football. I know you couldn't do it because the Ravens were on it last week, but just give me a good matchup, man. Don't give me this garbage with the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bengals and the Broncos. But if you have to give it to me, give me the Broncos in this one because last week, the Bengals defense looked putrid. Their offense did not look much better. I'm sorry, Jet, but I think you guys are 2-2 after this one.
No, I think we're 2-2. Look, I have no delusions about the Bengals. I knew going in, being a Bengals fan, this was probably not, unless we had Joe Burrow, we were going to struggle. We were going to do bad. We were not going to do well. However, there's a shot since he can win this, but I have Denver. I do have Denver picked. I promise you. It's right there.
All right. I got you. So how many points you going with?
So for me, the tiebreaker, 35 points. I went up a touchdown from what you did. I know you went 20.
No, I went 38. 38.
You went 38. I'm a field goal less.
Yeah.
I bet. No, look, I think this is going to be a close game, more close than it should be, especially after the performance Denver had last year. But this is not the Denver of last year. Like, they're 1-2, and that's bad. And I'm not going to lie, the reason that the Bengals are 2-1 right now, Joe Burrow was in the games that they won the 2. Jake Browning in his first outing got whooped.
Yeah.
By the Vikings. And, I mean, we were talking about Kevin O'Connell, great coach. Yeah, he
Yeah, he dice show up.
Oh, my God.
All right.
That was terrifying.
So let's go over it one more time. Our differences for this week are you're taking the Dolphins and you're taking the Raiders and the Ravens. I believe that is all we have different. So 3 games, which if you win all 3, we will be knotted back up moving into next week. But we're going to head into our next segment on the show, which is What's More Likely? And we only have one of these this week because of some production issues getting ready for the show, and I just wasn't able to get one in. So poo-poo on me. That's my fault. But Jet, what do you got for us?
So mine actually has to do with the Ravens. And it's dependent on a Ravens loss, but it's more or less their performance and how bad they really done, because they're 1-2 right now. We've not seen a Ravens team do this in a long time. John Harbaugh is not a 1-2 coach, even into week 4. That's wild. So my what's more likely is, are we seeing that, like, the downfall of the Ravens' playoff hopes? Or are they just letting the pressure that they've got on them right now get into their head a little too much? Because are we seeing what their playoff performances seep into their regular season performance now? Because people during the offseason, because during the offseason, people criticize their postseason performances. Rightfully so. They cannot do well in the postseason. They get against another really, they choke. They choke hard. So it's only right to criticize. So that's my thing. Is this the downfall of the Ravens? Get to them a little bit.
Well, I would like to apologize for jumping the gun on that. That is something I struggle with, and I'm trying to get better with in my broadcasting career. Is I have a really hard time determining when people are ending their sentences, because I was like, okay, he's going to end. I'll jump in here and say, hey, the poll's up on the YouTube chat, so that's on me. Okay,
you're good.
Let's get into this here. The downfall of the Ravens, or pressure getting to them. It's been a tough schedule, dude. They played against the Bills. They took care of business against the Browns in a game they needed to win. And the Lions are just really good. I think it's just the pressure. And not just the mental pressure, the pass rush. Their O-line this year just hasn't been as good as it's been in years past. You know, sacking Lamar Jackson used to be a real feat. Really hard to do because he's just so shifty back there. And the O-line gave him good protection. But you saw week 1. The Bills got a lot of pressure on him, and then the Lions just killed him. I mean, it was 7 sacks. It was a dominant performance.
That was the most sacks he's ever gotten in his entire or so.
You know, they're going to get to play against the Steelers coming up, and the Burrowless Bengals, and they get the Browns again this year. They have some games that are basically gimmies for them that they just need to win, and if they can take care of business there, I think they're fine. It's just pressure. It's right now saying, hey, we got some big games that we've played, haven't got the job done. Derrick Henry's fumbling the football. I mean, that doesn't happen. I think it's just the pressure, and it's not the downfall.
And you know, that's fair. That's very fair. Honestly, I don't know if it's necessarily the downfall. It just very much feels like it because of how bad they've, regressed into this season. But we'll see. We'll see, especially starting this week. We'll see if the Ravens can actually get it done this week against the Chiefs. Again, you have the Chiefs, I have the Ravens. I think the Ravens take this one.
Yeah, for the Ravens, it's just, you're in the playoffs last year, and if Mark Andrews doesn't become Quentin Johnson, the old version of him, in the playoffs, you win. If week 1, Derrick Henry doesn't fumble the football, you win. If you had any type of run defense last week, you probably win. Like, it's just each week it's one thing that costs them. Every game it's one small thing that's setting them up for failure. So I think eventually they're going to overcome that and they'll get back to being the dominant team we're used to. But this is something they've always done. They've always been tantalizing, and they've always been a team where we're like, they should be world beaters. And then they take a loss that really makes you question their entire roster and their team and the expectations. They're just aggravating like that. And yeah, I guess that's my take on things.
So, to address chat real quick, it seems like we have a European viewer. Doesn't necessarily understand. American football is very touchy, shall we say. This isn't like if you have a few bad years, you don't think much of it. No, this is if you have a bad year, the owner of the team will blow up the entire team to rebuild. And then try and make a whole dynasty run, essentially. And right now, the Ravens have been on a 20, 25-ish year dynasty run. They're a consistent playoff, like they're consistently in a post chip. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my mic.
No, your mic is crazy right now.
Dude, my mic is so insane right now, and I'm about to lose it. But they're like absolutely insane. But now they're going into a losing record, and it's early in the season. But a losing record, even early into a season, is detrimental going further. So this is more of is it a spiral scenario? Or is it a stay cool, calm, and collected and see how...
They're in the same boat as us, dude. It's like, Harbaugh's not going to win you a Super Bowl right now. I don't think he can. I don't think he's the right guy at the helm. He's a good coach. I just don't think Harbaugh's winning you a Super Bowl. Same thing with the Bills.
Not at all.
McDermott. McDermott's a fine head coach, but his third down defenses and whenever you actually need to stop in the playoffs, he's a defensively minded head coach. Doesn't get the job done. But you keep winning football games, you have so much talent that they get to keep their jobs. And I think that's kind of where Harbaugh's at, where if you didn't have Lamar and all these pieces around, you probably would have lost your job a few seasons ago. And I know he was on the hot seat at one point. I mean, his OCs have lost their job, which the OC that was with them, they had 1 year where they were really struggling offensively with Lamar. Guess where he's at right now? He's with the Chargers. And their offense looks pretty damn good to me. So,
might just been the wrong scheme.
Might have been the wrong scheme for the team. I know he liked to, also coaches can change. He liked to use the big guys, sort of tight ends. There's not a whole lot of that going on with the Chargers right now, but we're going to move into the trenches. It's time for our hot takes of the week. We're going to find out if we are hot or if we are not, but in my personal opinion, Justin, you are a very hot and attractive man. Your takes are just even hotter, man. So let's see. What do you got this week for Into the Trenches?
So, for Into the Trenches, for Into the Trenches this week, so my mic can hear me. Damn thing. So with Jaxson Dart, obviously...
Hold it up. Use like a normal microphone. Hold that thing.
So, with Jaxson Dart being the starter for we're just going to do ASMR for the rest of the show, because why not? I'm going to turn down the sensitivity so it's not as bad. So with Jaxson Dart getting the nod, which seems like the plan from the start, Cam Scadaboo should have gotten the same treatment. I think Cam Scadaboo should have very much been running back one coming into the season. I don't think he should have been regressed, and especially with how he performed in this last week, I think he's phenomenal. I don't think there's any issue with Cam Scadaboo, and I think burying him in that depth chart was a mistake, especially if you're wanting to try to win games.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. He's a tough runner. He's a good blocker. He does a lot of things really, really well. You can tell that everybody loves him. The O-line loves him. Everyone on that team seems to like Cam Scadaboo because of the energy he brings. So for them to not start him at the beginning of the year, I was like, really? Like, none of the guys you have on the roster really inspire me right now. This is a guy that even if you don't block all that well for him, he'll at least get you 3 yards, even if there isn't a hole, because he's just going to go downhill and bulldoze some guys. He's going to end up with CTE at the end of his career, but hey, maybe he wins some awards, and he'll be a fan favorite till the day he leaves the Giants, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing. So yeah, I agree with you. That's a good take. I'm not sure if it's the hottest take in the world, but it is your opinion, and I respect the hell out of it.
It's the hottest take I got for the week, at least. I mean, it could change, vary, but no, I think Cam Scatterby should definitely.
And it got sent. I know you said another mic issue there.
The running back won.
The European in the chat says, turn off noise cancellation on Discord.
I did.
And I think you already did. So, yeah, I don't know.
This mic is old, and I might have a new mic by next week. But yeah, this
one's gonna get sent out to pasture very soon.
Hey,
dude,
if you get a new mic, you should record yourself breaking it for a YouTube short, just like spiking it in the ground.
Might.
Wait, we could record something. I could drop back. I could throw you a pass, throw you the mic, you catch it, and you just Gronk spike that thing into the ground. That could be fun. And we could do it in the end zone on the football field like at night or something.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well,
dude, I'm down. This thing's pissing me off.
I got a hot take. An actual, like, straight up burning hot take. And a lot of people are going to probably get some weird opinions about me on this one. They're going to say, I can't believe he would say that. I've personally gone through this journey myself. Okay, here we go. So, Zion Williamson, he had Media Day the other day. This is the time of year where you get to see NBA players. What have they done in the offseason? Have they, gained weight? Have they slimmed down? What are they looking like? Mm-hmm. What's their attitude coming into the season? He looks slim. He's lost a lot of weight. This is a guy who's been very, very injury prone in his career. A guy that people call fat on NBA Twitter. Let's be real. People call him fat because he was a big guy. And you could tell he probably wasn't taking his conditioning and his eating and his exercise very seriously, which is really bad when you're a number 1 draft pick for your team and you're getting paid nearly $40 million a year for that to be a problem. So we fixed it. Zuggy, why are you upset? What? I mean, why? Why would I be upset at this?
Yeah.
Because you're doing it in a contract year, and you didn't give a shit about your team the last several years. You sat there, and you stuffed your face with fucking Big Macs, and you missed team flights, and you caused drama, and now you're expecting praise from everybody? You have nutritionists working for you. You have chefs that'll cook you whatever the hell you want. Workout plans. The average person, like if I want to get in shape like I am right now, I had to do all the research myself, meal prep, all these things. That's hard for a normal person to do. For someone who's making $40 million and having all these tools at your disposal, I'm supposed to be proud of you? I'm supposed to praise you? You let down your teammates. You let down your city. You let down your coaches because you wouldn't get in shape because you didn't take basketball seriously. You knew you had injury issues. All that time off you had, you couldn't diet. You couldn't work on things. And you've seen it. They've been bad. The Pelicans have been dog. When he's not on the court, they are not a good basketball team. He didn't care about his teammates until it was a contract year, until there was millions of dollars on the line. That's why I'm upset at him, because it's not because you care. It's reminding me of Allen Iverson back in the day, 2001. Doesn't show up to a lot of practices, has all the talent in the world. He took one season and he went to every practice and he showed up on time and listened to the coaches. They went to an NBA Finals. The year after that, he went back to his same old shit. That's what it reminds me of, a flash in the pan of one season of I care about basketball, and then going back to, I'm good at it, I have God-given gifts, but I just don't care enough. That's why I'm upset at him. It seems like I know it is a hot take. People might disagree with me on this, but you've let down a lot of people over your career, and now we're supposed to praise you for doing something that any athlete has easy access to doing? No.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that. Look, dude, if you're going to absolutely become scrawny and not care, or benefit yourself for the sake of a contract, but you couldn't care enough for your teammates over the past few years, why should we give you a contract? Getting a big contract proves that you are a team player and that you belong here and that we need to pay you to belong here. But instead, you're like, no, I want my money. I'll be skinny now. But as soon as I get my money, I'm gonna go spend half my contract at Dairy Queen and go get the god-awful Superman flavored ice cream that they got there. Dude, that thing is so sweet. But
crazy shot at Dairy Queen, by the way.
Crazy shot at Dairy Queen. But mean, it's true. Like, you can't just, like, get scrawny, play well, get the contract, fall back, fail. You know?
I mean, I'm happy he did it. I mean, eventually, like, you had to do it. The question is, maybe I'll eat my words on this. If he comes back and the rest of his career, he takes basketball seriously, he had a come-to-Jesus moment with his coaches, his family, the people around him, and said, dude, you got to do this. You got to be better. You have so much talent. Don't waste it. Don't waste your career. Don't waste your potential. I'll eat these words. I'll come back and say that I'm a freaking idiot. But as of right now, the way it just looks like another cash grab, and it looks like he's just not caring. But speaking of cash, it's time for Battle of the Bets, the last one of the month. And here are the standings. I've won $102. I hit a parlay earlier in the month where I just put like $20 on something. Ended up hitting. It was a very low risk bet. And now I only have $10 remaining at the end of the month here. And I've won 5 legs. But on your side, Jet, you are yet to hit your first big win. And this feels like it could be the week to happen, and you need it in a bad way. So what have you cooked up for us?
So, I'm gonna be honest with you. This week is do or die. This is final week of month 2 that I've hit legs and legs and legs and legs and legs and legs and legs, and I'm perfectly okay with that. However, I cannot get a full parlay going. So this week, I have, for why not, for celebration. My first one is Cal Raleigh, higher than half a home run. I need him to hit 1 tonight. I need 1, and he's playing the Rockies. For God's sake, Cal Raleigh, don't tank it. More than likely, that's not going to be the one that sinks me. But nonetheless, Cal Raleigh, over half a touchdown, I think, touchdown, home run, same difference.
We're in a football mood here. Come on now.
We're in a football mood. But that leads me to my second point, Trevor Lawrence. I need him to throw at least 1 interception. That's higher than half an interception. And I know we talked before the show, and I told you I was gonna get a Trevor Lawrence pick, and you're like, don't do it, man.
That's the one I'll give you. I agree with you there.
And I was like, as soon as you see it, you'll see why I picked it. And it's for him to throw an interception. So, Trevor Lawrence, you got to throw 1 interception, which, by the way, the reason I picked that one, I looked at his stats. He's thrown at least 1 interception every single game so far.
That's a good
So, that one I think I'm hitting, no doubt. I think I'm fine on that one. This last leg is what's going to sink me 110%, and I just have a bad feeling it's going to sink me. And that's Bo Nix, higher 1.5 passing touchdowns. I need him to at least throw 2 touchdowns. Throw it, not run it. Throw it.
You're asking a lot. That's a lot.
I'm asking a lot.
That's a lot.
I'm asking a lot out of Bo Nix for this week. But it's because it's Cincy. It's because it is a team that has a notable, horrible secondary. That is, if he can get the ball out of his hands, he's fine. For the love of God, Bo Nix, do not sink me. Let me get 1, because if I win this week and you lose this week, I win for the month, and I need it more than you do.
You do.
I'm desperate. I'm going to be real with you. I'm desperate. I need a win for crying out loud.
And here's the thing. Here's what I will say on this. So right now, I'm up all time because I've had 2 bets hit. You hit this one, you're getting pretty close back to even, and that means next month you could start getting back into positive. You could show that you are a winning gambler. But as of right now, we're not there yet, you know? And honestly, I've just gotten lucky so far. I mean, this is a very tough thing to make money on. Vegas is extremely good at what they do.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
You said it, not me.
I did. I'm going to admit it. And I'm going with 2 Seattle picks tonight and James Cook. So, Jackson Smith and Jigba, higher, 84.5 receiving yards. I'm going with this one because he hasn't gone under 96 all season, and the Cardinals have allowed the 3rd most passing yards this season. And Sam Darnold looked really good last week. So, give me Jackson Smith and Jigba there. And reminder, I only got $10 left coming into this week. I don't got a whole lot of moolah to spend. So, I'm just doing what I could to put some big odds up here, and that's why I'm betting on a home run. I would normally tell you, if you are a bettor, do not bet on home runs. It is so hard to predict, but tonight I got a good reason for it. because Bradley Blaylock is the starting pitcher for the Colorado Rockies this evening, and he has given up 2.6 home runs per 9 this season, which, if he was a qualified pitcher, would lead all of Major League Baseball. The dude just throws batting practice up there. He has an ERA, I believe, north of 9. He's tragically bad at baseball.
Cal Raleigh.
So if there was a night for Cal Raleigh to do it, I feel like this would be the one because things have been lining up. He's been hot. He's already hit 3 in the series, and the Mariners are still playing for that first round bye. They haven't just packed it in, mailed it in, and said season's over. They have something to play for still. So he's doing his full game prep. He's still doing the things he needs to do. Give me another home run tonight. And then James Cook. Why not, dude? It's the Saints. The Bills are going to be conservative. They're not going to open up the playbook, which means a lot of running plays, which means a lot of opportunities for James Cook to get the ball. We get in the red zone. They're not going to risk Josh Allen getting hurt against the Saints. Give the running back the football. James Cook's going to run one in or catch one this week. He's going to give me a touchdown. I'm going to get 53. You're going to win your bet, and I'm still going to beat you by a few dollars, and I'm going to be 2-0 in Battle of the Bets after this.
You know, I don't like that. It's probably going to happen, but I don't like that. That sucks. Anyway.
I also didn't cheat. I want to make that clear. I was talking to Jet before the show. I didn't see how much his was worth. So if you're questioning our integrity, I didn't know how much I needed to win. I just put together a parlay that was like, okay, it's somewhat safe. It gives me some more money. We'll see what happens. And it just so turned out that if I end up winning, I win by like less than $10. So
yep.
I didn't cheat. I tried to keep things fair because I do make the graphics. I get to see them as I put them in. I try not to look at what he bet on. But that is all for Battle of the Bets. We're going to move into wins and losses, starting off with Major League Baseball. And Jet, I'm going to let you do the rundown on everything we got going on, and then I'll walk us through the clinching scenarios.
So I'm just going to go through league, and I'm going to go American League and National League, and then we're going to just kind of base it off of that. So your top 3 right now in the American League are the Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Seattle Mariners, in that specific order. Right now, the Blue Jays and the Yankees, all they've done is clinch a playoff berth. Seattle Mariners are in a league of their own right now with the American League and actually clinching their division.
Let's go, baby.
Now, Boston Red Sox, Cleveland Guardians, Detroit Tigers, and Houston Astros are still in the hunt right now in the American League. All of them are single-digit games back. 3, 4, 5, and 6, literally in a row. In games back, they all have just as much of a chance, but if the Houston Astros want to make it, they've got to win out. They've got to get done. Swapping over to the National League side, you've got the Brewers, the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Padres that have all secured playoff positions. That's very different from the American League of just the 3. The National League is pretty much set and done and good to go. The Brewers and the Phillies, right now, they clinch their division. The Dodgers and the Cubs, they clinch the wild card. And the Padres have just clinched a playoff berth in general. Correction, Dodgers clinched a playoff berth. The only one that has clinched a wild card spot is the Cubs. So there's a little animosity there. The ones that are still technically in the hunt right now are the Miami Marlins, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Cincinnati Reds, the New York Mets, and yours truly, the St. Louis Cardinals.
No.
However, if we're going to get real specific on the statistics, actually, I'm going to leave the statistics to you. Nah, you know what? I'm going to say at least the percentage-wise. You'll go over the scenarios for some of these clinching scenarios, but I'll go ahead and do at least the percentage for the Cardinals. The reason we're making the joke of the Cardinals, we've both been very adamant that the Cardinals do not deserve to be in the postseason, and they don't. They're bad. They've tanked without meaning to tank, but they still want to win somehow. But the Cardinals don't deserve to be there. However, the Cardinals lost last night, and that didn't eliminate them because they have less than 0.1% to still make the playoffs. Technically, if they get a Cinderella story over the next week, yes, they make the playoffs and they're in and they're fine, and they'll get eliminated in the wild card, and that'll be that. However, the Cardinals play the Cubs tonight. They're going to lose. I have no shame in the game saying that. The Cardinals are going to lose to the Cubs. I hate it. I don't like saying it. The Cardinals and Cubs is a classic series. I think the Cardinals should win. Are the Cardinals going to win? No. So, more than likely, just go ahead and consider Cardinals in your eliminated category.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We have to basically have everything go our way, and it's just not going to happen. We have to win out, which is already hard enough, and then we need perfection across the board from everyone. And I'm trying to pull up a video right now that is very, 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 very relevant, and I'm trying to get it up on Twitter, and here it is. Oh, I accidentally went full screen on it. Uh-oh. Hang on. Whoa. Okay. I got to do some work here on the media side of things to get this to work. Media capture. Turned off. Oh, I need it on. Hang on. Sorry, guys. And there we go. Okay. So, as we all know, the Reds are right there. They're half a game back of the Mets. They played a very important game earlier today, and this is what happened at the very end of it. And I'm going to be real with you. I can't believe that it did happen. Here it is. Drives one out to right. And I'm going to take that one back. And that won them the game. The Pirates were swinging 3-0. And the Reds continue to stay alive in the wild card hunt. Big win for them over the Pirates today. Although, dude, it's the Pirates. You shouldn't be winning by 1 run. You should be winning by at least 5. I don't know what we're doing.
The Pirates are already eliminated. They're 69-90. I will say this, though. However, it's looking to be... Correction. There's only 2 100-loss teams in the league, though, which is shocking. But there's only 2 100-loss teams in the league, and that is the Chicago White Sox. Nobody shocked. And the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, they're bad.
Everybody give it up for them. They're at 115, baby. 115 losses.
So here's what we're going to do now. We're just going to run through the wild card scenarios. I'm going to read these off. I'm going to try to go fast. We're almost to an hour, 50-minute show. This is one of our longest ones yet. We're just going to try to get through this as fast as we can. Here we go. The Red Sox can clinch a postseason berth today if they beat the Blue Jays or the Astros lose to the A's. The Guardians can clinch a postseason berth today if they beat the Tigers and the A's beat the Astros. The Mariners can clinch a bye in the wild card series and home field advantage in the ALDS today if they beat the Rockies, which they should, or the Tigers beat the Guardians, which they should. And then you got the Dodgers. They can clinch the NL West tonight if they beat the D-backs. The Brewers can clinch the NL's #1 seed, and home field advantage throughout the postseason if the Marlins beat the Phillies. A very, very random clinching scenario there, but the Marlins are bad, so that shouldn't happen. But the Phillies are sometimes a questionable baseball team. The eventual AL East champion, the Yankees or the Blue Jays, can clinch a bye in the wild card round and home field advantage today if one of these 3 things happens. The Tigers beat the Guardians, the Yankees beat the White Sox, which they should, and the Blue Jays beating the Red Sox, which that one's kind of 50-50. Those are the clinching scenarios right now, and I guess the #1 thing for all the teams is don't get eliminated, stay alive, win your games, take care of business, and we're going to move on to some teams that have taken care of business and some that have not. Looking at the NFL, the Buffalo Bills 3-0, a little bit of a scare last week because the Miami Dolphins are playing for their jobs, and they still couldn't win when we had 2 of our best defensive players out and our head coach actually being a terrorist on 3rd down. Like, the defensive and the schemes, that everything he was drawing up was just bad. Tua and Achan and everybody on that team, they looked like Super Bowl contenders if they just played on 3rd down. But they ran into our punter. We get a W there. The Pats turn over the ball 5 times. The Jets almost get it done. You saw Aaron Glenn on the sideline, and he was doing his whole little dance. They returned a blocked kick for a touchdown. It wasn't enough because Baker Mayfield is him. The Dolphins 0-3. The Bengals 2-1. The Steelers 2-1. Both very fraudulent.
Oh, yeah.
They're not contenders. But the Ravens 1-2. And the Browns beat the Packers. What?
They're tied with the Browns.
Yeah, AFC North is always a bloodbath. We'll figure that one out when we get to like week 17, week 18. The Indianapolis Colts are the only good team in the AFC South. Yeah, the Jags are 2-1. Dude, they suck. They are bad. They should be 3-0, but you lost to Jake Browning.
The AFC South is always one good team. Every other team sucks.
Literally, there's just something there.
The South is never good to watch. It's never a good division to watch.
Nah, but the Chargers the Chargers just taking care of business. I mean, the Raiders are not a good football team.
The Chargers are the only ones with a winning record in the AFC West, which is unheard of, by the way. The Broncos and the Chiefs are normally in the winning category. They're tied with the Raiders at 1-2, 3 losing records, and only 1 with a winning record, and that is wild. Now, if you want, I'll take over the NFC.
Yeah, you can take it over. Why not?
So we're going to focus on the East first, and obviously that's going to be the Eagles, 3-0, coming off of their Super Bowl season. Apparently that slump didn't hit them. Kudos. Good job. Commanders 2-1, we kind of expected. 1-2 out of the Dallas Cowboys, very reminiscent of last season. And then the New York Giants 0-3, I don't think we expected much out of them. But now they're putting Jaxson Dart in there, and I just feel bad for Dart. I don't even feel bad for that organization. I feel bad for Dart. Moving on to the North, this one is the bloodbath of the NFC. This is the one that is one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive NFC divisions that ever exists. But right now, 3 of them are tied, 2-1, and that's what we mean. 3 of them, 2-1. They're showing that they're prime time games, except for the Chicago Bears, which the Bears suck. They're awful.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Delusion hits hard sometimes. People.
I'm not delusional. I've shit on Caleb Williams so many times on this show at this point. I understand he's not good, but last week they looked good. Dude, the Bears could throw the football forward for yards. This doesn't happen. This franchise doesn't do that. It was entertaining to watch.
I think Caleb Williams wished upon a shooting star for that one. I think it was a one and done. We have differing opinions. We'll see on next week's show.
The Cowboys have a Make-A-Wish secondary, bro. Like, yeah, he's gonna cook. Like, he's fine.
So, with that, let's go on to the NFC South. And just like the AFC South, one good team and the rest of them suck. That is all it is. The Buccaneers are 3-0, Panthers 1-2, Falcons 1-2, New Orleans 0-3. And the only reason that the Panthers are above the Falcons at 1-2, and that is because the Panthers beat the Falcons, which is an in-conference, which gives you that little bit of a boost on the win column. So, congrats, Panthers.
I will say one thing, dude. Look at that differential. The Panthers have the best differential in the NFC South. And I understand they're a bad football team. They have one of the best special teams and kickoff coverage groups in the entire league. So, even though they're bad, special teams is at least helping that defense out a little bit.
I mean, you got to find the silver lining where you can with a division like that, though. So, yeah. I'll give you that one. I'll give you the little silver lining of the Panthers, but other than that, the NFC South is not good. And then, right now, we are getting to the NFC West, which honestly looks more competitive than the NFC North, but that's because every single one of them have a winning record, starting with the Niners at 3-0. I don't think anyone's shocked. The Niners have always been good. They're kind of like in that AFC conversation with the Ravens. The Niners have always been one of those legacy teams that is phenomenal. They're 3-0, and I think that's going to continue into this weekend. The Cardinals 2-1. That's more shocking than anything else. The Seahawks 2-1. Again, that's still pretty shocking considering how they shook up their offense. And the Los Angeles Rams are also at 2-1, which again, I think comes at the shock of nobody because the Rams are one of those teams that are bought and paid for. They very pay for their team.
They're good. I'm shocked with that division. I mean, I only take the Seahawks and the Rams seriously right now because the 49ers, with all their injuries, they're tough to have a lot of faith in. And the Cardinals, whenever Kyler Murray's contract is up, dude, get out of town. I get it. You have some abilities. You're fast. You're great. You make some highlights. You're also really stupid with the football, and when the game's on the line, I can't trust you to make a play for me. So, they're wearing those new jerseys this week, though. That is huge.
Oh, the tortilla one?
Yeah, I believe they're wearing the rivalry one.
Yeah.
I think they are. I saw it on a show earlier today. I don't know why they'd be talking about it if they weren't wearing it. So
I gotta love the tortilla jerseys.
Yeah, we liked them. We put them in S tier, didn't we?
We did. I really liked them because it's that desert. It's the desert sand and all that. It looks good. It's not bad. But yeah, and there's your weekly wins, losses wrap up. People.
Well, I appreciate everyone who showed out today. I saw at one point on this stream, and I can actually go take a look at the stats. At one point during this stream, we had 4 viewers. Yeah! Which is like high for us. We're starting out. We're trying our best. And we got someone else in the chat now, which I know who that is, but I won't leak your name or anything. But thank you for showing up. Better late than never. But thank you guys all so much for listening to Zuggy Zone. From Jet and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And we're going to get that music started. And honestly, I forgot there's a run-up to it. So we got 15 seconds to kill. What do you want to talk about?
Honestly, people, it's cool that we have an international audience, and all I'm saying is the NFL is heading your way. Go ahead and watch a few games. And not necessarily educate yourself, but see what American football is about. Deuces!